They whispered, "I'm not their child," as I lay broken from an explosion, abandoning me to die. Then they returned for my fortune, only to find a letter that drained the color from their faces. The night my world exploded, literally, started with a hum, a low, ominous vibration that rattled the steel walls of my lab in San Francisco's tech hub, a place I'd poured my soul into for years. I was 30, an AI engineer on the cusp of something groundbreaking, hunched over my desk at 2 a.m., the glow of my screens casting shadows across the room. My latest project, a neural network poised to revolutionize global security, hummed with potential and danger I didn't yet grasp. Then came the spark, a flash of orange light, a deafening roar, and the world turned into a furnace. I dove under my desk as glass shattered and flames licked the ceiling, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Smoke choked my lungs, and for a moment I was sure I was done for. But instinct kicked in. I crawled, gasping, toward the emergency exit, the heat searing my skin, the acrid stench of burning circuits filling my nostrils. I barely made it out, collapsing onto the pavement as sirens wailed in the distance, my lab reduced to a smoldering ruin behind me. That was the moment everything changed. That was the moment I realized my life, the one I'd known, was a lie. I lay there, coughing, my blonde hair singed at the edges, my blue eyes stinging with smoke and tears as firefighters swarmed the scene. The explosion wasn't an accident. Someone had wanted me dead. My mind raced. Who? Why? The answers began to trickle in the next day when I woke up in a sterile hospital room, my body a map of bruises and burns, hooked to machines that beeped with every shallow breath. That's when I overheard them. My parents, Richard and Margaret Harper, whispering outside my door, their voices usually so polished and commanding, carried a coldness that stopped my heart. "She's not our real daughter," Richard said, his tone detached, as if discussing a bad investment. Margaret's response was even worse. "Let her die. The inheritance is ours if she doesn't make it." I froze, the words slicing through me like a knife. Not their daughter. A fortune they'd kill for. My head spun, the pain in my body paling against the betrayal clawing at my chest. Growing up, I'd lived a life that looked like a dream to outsiders. Our Pacific Heights mansion, with its sprawling gardens and 3-car garage housing Dad's Porsche and Mom's Jaguar, was the envy of San Francisco's elite. Richard, a high-stakes venture capitalist, and Margaret, a biotech executive, were Silicon Valley royalty, hosting lavish galas where tech moguls toasted to innovation and excess. To the world, we were the perfect family. Me, their brilliant daughter, shaped by coding boot camps, robotics tournaments, and elite STEM academies from the time I could walk. But perfection came with a price. They demanded straight A+ grades, dismissing anything less with a look that could curdle milk. "Evelyn, you're destined for greatness," Dad would say, his eyes gleaming with something I now suspect was greed. Mom would nod, adding, "We've invested too much in you to settle for average." That word, invested, echoed in my head now, a clue I'd been too blind to see. The first cracks appeared when I was 13. Flipping through our family albums, I noticed a gaping hole. No photos of me before age 4. "House fire," Mom explained with a tight smile, brushing it off. My striking blonde hair and blue eyes, so different from their dark features, were chalked up to a mysterious grandfather I'd never met. A trust fund from him worth $10 million, 0 cents, unlocked when I turned 27, and their eagerness to manage it set my nerves on edge. My birth certificate, pristine when I needed it for a passport, felt off, and their tension when I mentioned DNA ancestry kits only deepened the unease. Still, I buried those doubts, focusing on my passion for virtual reality design, until they forced me into Stanford for AI and machine learning. "Art's a hobby, not a career," Dad snapped, his voice sharp enough to cut glass. I caved, graduated summa cum laude, and landed at a top tech firm, crafting neural networks that could change the world. At 27, I took control of my inheritance, investing it independently, and that's when the real war began. For 4 years, they hounded me for loans, risky crypto ventures, offshore startups, each pitch more desperate than the last. I refused, and the rift widened. Then, at 30, my AI breakthrough snagged a $50 million 0-cents government contract, thrusting me into a spotlight I wasn't ready for. The lab explosion followed days later, and now, lying in that hospital bed, I pieced it together. The car bomb that nearly killed me on a Sydney highway, where I'd been presenting my research, was no coincidence. Someone had tampered with the brakes, turning my rental into a death trap. I survived by a miracle, dragged from the wreckage by strangers, but the ICU revelation about my parents' plot to let me die for my money sent me spiraling. Liam, my best friend since college, was my lifeline. He'd rushed to Sydney, authorized the surgery they refused, and stayed by my side as I fought to breathe through a ventilator. Nurse Clara, a tough Aussie with a heart of gold, overheard the Harpers' conversation and became my unexpected guardian, sneaking me extra pain meds and whispering, "Those monsters don't deserve you." But the truth gnawed at me. Who was I if not their daughter? With Liam's help, I started digging. My birth records, accessed from my hospital bed via a shaky laptop, revealed a forged document from a Melbourne hospital dated 1993, the year I was supposedly born. News archives painted a chilling picture: the abduction of Isla Bennett, a 6-month-old snatched from her crib in a Sydney mansion. Her parents' anguished pleas splashed across headlines. The timeline matched. The hair, the eyes, it all fit. Was I Isla, stolen and molded into Evelyn Harper? The suspicion drove me to act. While still bandaged and doped on painkillers, I sent Liam and a PI, Marcus, to the Harpers' vacation home in Hawaii. They retrieved DNA from a hairbrush and a coffee mug, risking exposure. The results hit like a freight train. No biological link to Richard or Margaret. A follow-up test, run through a private database, matched me with 99.9% certainty to the Bennetts. A wealthy Australian family still searching for their lost daughter. My mind reeled. They'd raised me as a pawn, a $10 million 0-cents investment, and now they wanted me dead to claim it all. But the stakes were higher than I'd imagined. Marcus uncovered hacked transfers, $500,000 0-cents already siphoned from my accounts, and a plan for a private jet to Dubai, where extradition wouldn't touch them. I couldn't let them win. From my hospital bed, I drafted a letter, every word a weapon. The DNA proof, the abduction evidence, their money laundering scheme tied to a global cartel. I had Liam planted in a vault at First National Bank, rigged with cameras and a police sting. But the danger escalated. That night, masked intruders broke into my room, silenced by Clara's quick thinking with a sedative alarm. They wanted my research files, hinting at a conspiracy beyond my parents. Days later, discharged to Liam's LA loft, I faced a drone strike during a live demo of my AI in New York, the explosion missing me by inches as I dove behind a podium. The pressure mounted. Mercenaries kidnapped me from the safe house, chaining me in a warehouse until Liam traced my phone and freed me in a tense shootout. A car chase through Sydney's neon-lit streets tested my will, assassins' bullets whizzing past as I floored the gas. And in court, during the Harpers' appeal, gunmen stormed the room, forcing me to duck under the bench as security tackled them. The trap snapped shut when the Harpers, greedy and oblivious, took a decoy vault key during a fake reconciliation visit. Police arrested them mid-heist, uncovering a $200 million 0-cents fraud network and a staged assassination plot. My letter, read on live TV, exposed it all. The cartel ties, the forged identity, the billion-dollar tech empire they'd built on my back. They faced kidnapping, cybercrime, and treason charges, their empire crumbling. In a maximum security prison visit, Richard admitted a cartel paid them to abduct me, Margaret confessing they kept me for profit, never love. The betrayal fueled my resolve. I reached out to the Bennetts, my real family, in a call that broke the internet. Catherine Bennett sobbed. Isla, my baby, unlocked a flood of tears and hope. They shared videos of baby Isla stolen from their Sydney estate, and I met Noah and Sophie, my siblings, who hinted at a secret society behind it all. Legally, I became Isla Evelyn Bennett, my recovery a grueling battle with experimental spine surgery under sniper fire. I pivoted my AI work to security, exposing a cartel data breach, funding it with my fortune. The trial loomed with death threats, but I testified, my voice steady. 5 mysteries gnawed at me. An encrypted message hinting at surviving cartel leaders, rumors of a hidden sibling, a tip my lab explosion was an inside job, unexplained account deposits, and a toddler photo with unknown figures online. A poisoned meal at a Bennett reunion nearly killed me, saved by Noah's quick Heimlich. The stakes grew. My foundation, the Isla Bennett Initiative, fought human trafficking. But each step forward met resistance. I reclaimed my VR passion, my holographic exhibit nearly derailed by a cyber attack. The Harper's sentencing saw me forgive them on global TV, not for them, but for my peace, as their stoic faces masked defeat. 2 years later, standing at the crash site under Sydney's spring sun, I felt gratitude. My story, a blend of Evelyn's resilience and Isla's truth, continues. The cartel shadow lingers, but with the Bennetts, Liam and Clara, I'm building a future. If this grips you, tell me below. Have you faced a truth that reshaped you? Subscribe for more, and let's uncover what's next together. The sterile hum of the hospital room faded into a distant echo as I lay there, my body a patchwork of bandages and pain, my mind a whirlwind of betrayal. The DNA results had hit me like a sledgehammer. 0 biological ties to the Harpers, the people I'd called Mom and Dad for 30 years. My gut twisted as I stared at the lab report Liam had printed, the cold clinical words confirming what I'd overheard in that ICU haze. I wasn't their daughter. The revelation gnawed at me, a raw, open wound. But it was the 99.9% match to the Bennetts, a prominent Australian family I'd never known, that sent a shiver down my spine. Isla Bennett. The name felt foreign, yet it tugged at something deep inside, a memory I couldn't grasp. My life, built on their lies, was unraveling, and I was determined to tear it all apart. I couldn't stay helpless. From my hospital bed, I rallied Liam and Marcus, my PI, to secure my assets. The news that the Harpers had hired hackers to siphon $500,000 0 cents from my accounts was a gut punch. Money I'd earned through sweat and sleepless nights, now bleeding into their greedy hands. Marcus traced the digital footprints to a shadowy network, hinting at a private jet escape to Dubai, where they planned to vanish with my $10 million 0 cents inheritance, safe from extradition. The stakes were climbing, and I felt the noose tightening. I scribbled a damning letter, every line a grenade. DNA proof, abduction evidence, their cartel ties, sealing it in a vault rigged with surveillance. The risk was palpable. If they suspected, I'd be a target. But I had to strike back. Discharged to Liam's loft in Los Angeles, I thought I'd found a sanctuary. The first night, masked intruders shattered that illusion, bursting through the window, their gloved hands clawing for my research files. My heart slammed against my ribs as I ducked behind the couch, Liam tackling one while I grabbed a fire poker, swinging wildly. Clara, ever the hero, burst in with security, subduing them with a tranquilizer dart. Their silence was eerie. No IDs, no words, just a chilling message scrawled on a note. Stop digging, or you're next. The attack left me trembling, but it fueled my resolve. The Harpers' visit the next day was a masterclass in deception. Feigning concern, they pocketed a decoy vault key I'd planted, oblivious to the trap closing around them. The police sting was a whirlwind. Cameras captured the Harpers at First National Bank, their faces lighting up as they opened the vault, only to pale as they read my letter. Officers swarmed, arresting them mid-heist, uncovering a $200 million 0-cents fraud network tied to my inheritance. Offshore accounts, shell companies, and a staged assassination plot that had nearly killed me in Sydney. The letter, leaked to the press, exposed their crimes, igniting a media firestorm. Kidnapping, cybercrime, treason. Charges piled up, life sentences looming. I felt a surge of vindication, but the victory was tainted by the weight of their confession in a maximum security prison visit. Richard's voice, cold as steel, admitted a cartel had paid them to abduct me as a baby, Margaret adding they'd built a billion-dollar tech empire on my back, never loving me. The words cut deeper than any wound, leaving me hollow. Desperate for truth, I contacted the Bennetts. The call, accidentally broadcast live by a tech glitch, became a global spectacle. Catherine Bennett's sob, "Lila, baby," cracked something in me, tears streaming as Thomas joined, their voices trembling with 30 years of loss. They sent haunting videos of baby Isla, stolen from their Sydney estate, her tiny face mirroring mine. Meeting Noah and Sophie, my siblings, was a roller coaster. Warm hugs clashing with their whispered hint of a secret society behind my abduction, their eyes darting with unease. Legally, I became Isla Evelyn Bennett, a name that felt like a rebirth, but my recovery was a battlefield. Experimental spine surgery performed under sniper fire outside the operating room pushed my limits, the crack of bullets a constant reminder of the cartel's reach. I pivoted my AI work to security, exposing a cartel-orchestrated global data breach using my fortune. The Harpers' trial revealed a conspiracy with foreign governments, their testimony a maze of lies. I took the stand under death threats, a bulletproof vest hidden under my suit, my voice steady as I recounted their betrayal. The Isla Bennett initiative, launched to combat human trafficking, became my mission, funded with my $10 million 0 cents. Returning to VR design, I unveiled a holographic exhibit in Sydney, only for a cyber attack to freeze the screens mid-presentation, forcing me to reboot it live, sweat beading on my forehead. Liam, Clara, and the Bennetts formed a protective circle, but the threats persisted. 5 mysteries gnawed at me. An encrypted message, "They're still watching," hinted at surviving cartel members. Rumors of a hidden sibling from Noah's cryptic slip fueled my curiosity. An anonymous tip claimed my lab explosion was an inside job, Marcus's frown deepening as he investigated. Unexplained deposits, $2 million 0 cents, appeared in my accounts, suggesting a deeper plot. A chilling toddler photo, posted online with unknown figures, sent chills down my spine. The dangers escalated. At a Bennett reunion in Melbourne, a poisoned meal, cod laced with arsenic, nearly killed me, Noah's quick Heimlich saving me as guests screamed. A drone strike during a New York demo sent shrapnel flying, my dive behind a pillar narrowly sparing me. Mercenaries kidnapped me from my LA safe house, chaining me in a freezing warehouse until Liam's drone tracked me. A shootout erupting as I escaped, a car chase through Sydney's streets, assassins' bullets piercing my rear window tested my nerve. In court during the Harpers' appeal, gunmen stormed in, forcing me under the bench as security wrestled them down, my heart racing. The push-pull intensified. I dug deeper, hiring hackers to trace the deposits, only to hit encrypted dead ends. Noah's evasiveness about the sibling rumor sparked arguments, his apology tearful but unconvincing. Marcus's investigation into the lab explosion pointed to a colleague, but evidence vanished. The deposits led to a Swiss bank, shut down mid-inquiry. The toddler photo's metadata hinted at a European source, but tracking stalled. Each clue teased revelation, then slipped away, the cartel's shadow growing. An ambush at my initiative's launch. Explosives rigged to the stage, forced an evacuation. My speech cut short as I shielded Sophie. A sniper's bullet grazed my arm during a Bennett family hike, Thomas tackling me to safety. A blackmail video demanding my research arrived with a severed finger. Clara's quick thinking tracing the IP to Jakarta. A car bomb at my VR studio's opening misfired, injuring a crew member. Guilt gnawing at me. In a UN speech on trafficking, a poison gas canister released, my gas mask saving me, as diplomats panicked. The breaking point came during a Bennett retreat in the outback. Catherine revealed a locket with Isla's hair, a DNA match confirming my identity, but a raid by cartel enforcers mid-emotion shattered the moment. They demanded my AI codes, holding Noah hostage. I negotiated, stalling as Liam and Marcus ambushed them, a firefight erupting. Noah's escape, bloodied but alive, brought tears of relief, but the cartel's leader escaped, vowing revenge. The emotional whiplash, joy at my family's embrace, terror at the attack, left me raw. Back in LA, I decoded the encrypted message, revealing a cartel safe house. A covert raid with Marcus netted files linking the Harpers to a global assassination ring, their empire's collapse imminent. The trial's climax was a roller coaster. The Harpers, cornered, offered a plea deal implicating cartel leaders, but a bomb threat evacuated the courthouse. I testified remotely, my voice shaking as I forgave them. Not for them, but for me, broadcast worldwide, brought catharsis, their stoic faces a stark contrast to my tears. The Bennetts' support, Liam's steady presence, and Clara's fierce loyalty rebuilt me. The initiative's first success, rescuing 50 trafficking victims, ignited hope. At my VR exhibit's relaunch, a standing ovation for my resilience moved me to tears, the holograms of my journey inspiring a crowd of thousands. The cartel's shadow lingered, but I stood taller, a survivor forging a future, my story a beacon of triumph over darkness.